My daughter lied and said that her stepfather was spying on her while she was naked. Now my husband wants to leave me. I'm writing from a throwaway account because of how bad things have gotten, and I really need an outside perspective. My family keeps calling and texting me, calling me a monster for not blindly supporting my daughter. My husband and I have been married for just over 5 years. He and my 19-year-old daughter always had a normal, good relationship. I've never seen anything strange in his behavior toward her, and she's never once complained. Last Thursday, my husband and I were watching a movie in the living room. He paused it to go to the bathroom. I heard him knock on the bathroom door, twice 2 sets of 3 knocks with a small pause in between. It was loud enough for me to hear from the living room. A second later, I heard my daughter screaming. I rushed to the bathroom and saw my daughter completely naked, covering herself and screaming at my husband to get out. I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw my husband stumbling over his own feet trying to close the door as quickly as possible. I asked him what happened. He said he knocked, didn't hear an answer, assumed the bathroom was empty, and walked in. When he entered, he saw her naked in front of the mirror and immediately tried to leave. Once my daughter calmed down, I asked for her side. She said she was changing when he suddenly walked in. I asked why she didn't answer when he knocked. At first, she claimed he didn't knock at all. I told her I heard him knock. That's when she admitted she had been listening to music with headphones on and didn't hear anything. We thought the issue was resolved. My husband apologized and explained he thought the bathroom was empty. She even hugged him and apologized for yelling. But then things got worse. My daughter told her family a completely different version, that she told him the bathroom was occupied, but he barged in anyway to look at her. My sister called me, screaming, demanding to know why my husband was still living in the house. We have cameras in the hallway, and although they don't capture audio, the footage clearly shows my husband knocking multiple times before entering. I confronted my daughter. At first, she denied making up the story. When I asked her how my sister could possibly know the fake version, she eventually admitted she had told her cousin, who must have told her mother. I asked her why she lied and tried to make her stepfather look like a predator. She kept denying it until I explained what the family was saying. Then she broke down crying and apologized, saying she had been just imagining scenarios when talking to her cousin and didn't think it would get this out of hand. Yesterday, my phone was flooded with angry calls and texts from family accusing my husband of horrible things. I sat my daughter down, showed her the messages, and told her she needed to fix the mess she created. She refused, saying she only told her cousin and didn't think it would spread like this. Now she's afraid to tell the truth because she thinks everyone will hate her. She insisted that people know her stepfather is a good man, and the scandal would blow over. It only got worse. My husband came out of the bedroom with packed bags. He said he was moving in with his parents because he couldn't handle being treated like a monster anymore. My daughter cried and begged him to stay, but he left anyway. I told my daughter that if I divorced my husband because of her lies, she would have to move out. I made it clear that I wasn't going to lose a man who genuinely loves me because she wanted attention. She asked me for help explaining things to the family, but I said no, she's not a child anymore, and she needs to own up to the mess she made. Now my family is calling me horrible names, saying I'm a terrible mother for not siding with my daughter. I don't know what to do. My husband has asked for space. My daughter is devastated. And honestly, I'm completely broken right now. Update. It's been a few weeks now, and things have only gotten worse. My husband officially moved out and told me he's not coming back. He said he loves me, but he can't forgive the fact that I didn't protect him immediately when the family turned against him. He feels betrayed, and he's too hurt to even consider trying again. I begged him to stay, but he said he needed peace, and being near me or my daughter only reminded him of everything that happened. My daughter never confessed to the family. She kept dragging her feet, making excuses, and saying she was scared. Meanwhile, my family completely cut me off. No one talks to me anymore. To them, I'm the woman who chose a man over her own blood. They don't want to hear the truth even if I showed them the camera footage they already made up their minds. Eventually, I told my daughter she needed to leave. I helped her pack her things, and she moved in with my sister, ironically the one who screamed at me the most. My daughter cried and begged me to let her stay, but I stood firm. I told her I loved her, but she had to live with the consequences of her lies. Now, I live alone. I lost my husband, my family, and my daughter's trust all at once. Some nights I lie awake wondering if I made the right choices. But deep down, I know one thing. Love without trust doesn't survive. Not between partners. Not between parents and children. Not between family. My life feels like it was ripped apart by one stupid, reckless Leand. There's no fixing it now. Update number 1. 1 month later. After endless calls and texts from relatives, I sent the same message to everyone, explaining exactly what my father did and why I wanted no relationship with him. After that, I blocked all their numbers. I changed my phone number, but kept the old SIM card in a second phone just in case I needed proof if any harassment started. Thankfully, nothing serious happened, and I thought it was finally over. About a week later, my aunt's fiancé showed up at my place. He knew when I got off work and waited for me in the parking lot. I was on edge at first, but he said he only wanted to talk. He told me that my message caused a huge fallout within the family. Some of my cousins, who had no idea about the past, started questioning my father and his fiancée. They tried to deny everything, but others stepped in and confirmed it was true. It sparked a major conflict. Some family members even refused to attend the wedding. My father wanted to postpone it to talk things over with me, but his fiancée threatened to leave him if he did. Word about what happened spread among their friends, many of whom were also my mother's friends. Several of them backed out of attending the wedding too. His fiancée went into meltdown mode, banning anyone who brought up the past from attending the wedding, including family members. The fiancé told me that my aunt now blames everything on me, claiming I ruined the family's image on purpose. Honestly, it made me laugh. The wedding will still happen somehow, but at this point, it sounds like a disaster. I asked him about my aunt and how all this even started. He said there was a discussion about how bad it would look if I didn't show up to the wedding, and my aunt volunteered to call me. He was against it, but she went ahead anyway. He said he only came to tell me the full story because he thought I deserved to know. I thanked him but told him I planned to cut contact with my aunt and, by extension, with him too. He understood, wished me luck, and left. I'm not gonna lie and pretend everything's great. I miss my aunt, I miss my mom, but I know I made the right decision. Right now, I'm living with my girlfriend, who's been cheering me up by coming up with ridiculous ways to crash the wedding, jokingly, of course. A lot of people suggested I see a therapist, and I think I'm finally going to do it. Some comments made me realize just how much grief and anger I've been carrying around. Thank you all again for your support and advice. Update number 2. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, but today I logged in and saw so many messages asking how I'm doing and what happened next. I wasn't sure if I should even post another update or if anyone would even see it, but I decided to anyway. For those asking about the wedding, I don't know many details. What I do know is that they did get married. Since then, no one from my family has reached out to me, and I haven't tried to find out anything either. Honestly, I'm perfectly fine with that. As for me, things have changed a lot. First, thank you to everyone who cared enough to ask about me. Your kindness means more than I can put into words. I'm slowly getting better, although it's been a tough journey. A lot has happened since my last update. Right now, I'm living alone in a new city. My ex-girlfriend, I'll call her Meond, I broke up about 4 months after my last post. In March, we celebrated 2 years together and talked about our future, but emotionally, I was a mess. Therapy started off well, but I quickly realized just how much unresolved grief I was carrying from losing my mom. I was overwhelmed. I cried for no reason sometimes and kept having intrusive thoughts, terrified that I'd somehow turn into my father. Mia wanted a family and kids, and deep down, I knew I couldn't give her the future she deserved not in the state I was in. It felt selfish to ask her to stay while I was still so broken. We had a lot of honest conversations, a lot of tears, and eventually, we agreed to part ways. It was heartbreaking, but it was the right decision for both of us. Even after the breakup, Mia and my friends constantly checked in on me. I wasn't truly alone. I'm incredibly grateful for that. In July, I was offered a transfer to my company's main office, located in another city. After talking it over with my therapist, I decided it was a good opportunity for a fresh start. I moved in September. My best friend used 25 out of his 30 vacation days just to help me pack, move, and get settled. I honestly can't even describe how much that meant to me. I have some truly amazing friends. Since the move, I've been taking things one day at a time. The new office has been fantastic. The team welcomed me warmly, which was a huge relief since I was really anxious about starting over somewhere new. Now, I do online therapy twice a week, and I also see a grief counselor in person. It's been helping a lot. Emotionally, I'm in a much better place than before, though I'm not ready to date anyone yet. Right now, I'm focusing completely on my career and my healing. Thank you again to everyone who supported me, who sent kind messages, or who even just wondered how I was doing. It truly means the world to me. Did I act wrong by leaving my mom's party after she insulted my daughter? I'm 36 years old and have a stepdaughter, Anna, who's 14. I married her father when she was 2 years old. I love Anna like my own biological child and consider her my daughter in every sense. Most of my family absolutely adores Anna Shays, a sweet, hardworking girl who always tries her best to make everyone happy. However, my mom, who's 55, has never seemed to like her. She's never said anything directly, but I always suspected it was because Anna isn't biologically mine. Over the past few years, I've been teaching Anna how to cook. Last year, she asked if she could start bringing dishes to family events, and I happily agreed. That's when my mom's criticism started. At first, it was small things, suggesting more seasoning or longer cooking times, but over the past few months, her comments have become much harsher. She never criticizes food made by anyone else, just Anna's. This Thanksgiving, my mom outright said that the casserole Anna made was disgusting and inedible. I asked her to stop criticizing Anna, reminding her how hard Anna was trying, but she ignored me. That was the final straw for me. This week was my mom's birthday. I still had some curry she had made about 6 months ago frozen in my freezer. I reheated it, brought it to her party, and told everyone that Anna had worked really hard to make a curry just like her grandma's. Predictably, my mom immediately started criticizing it, saying it was overspiced, the chicken was overcooked, and even going so far as to say Anna shouldn't bring food anymore. At that point, I hadn't intended to cause a scene, but I couldn't stay quiet. I told my mom that the curry was actually her own cooking. Anna had just reheated it, and she had no reason to criticize it so harshly. My mom tried to backtrack, saying she was only trying to offer constructive criticism. But I knew that wasn't true. I asked her point blank why she treated Anna so poorly. She finally admitted that she doesn't consider Anna her real granddaughter. That was it for me. I gathered my husband, Anna, and my other kids, explained what had happened, and we left the party. Now, we're probably not going to attend family gatherings for a while. My mom threw a fit on social media, and most of our relatives have taken her side. She claims I ruined her birthday and destroyed our relationship over a child who isn't even mine. My husband supports me but feels we shouldn't have walked out, that I had already made my point by exposing her behavior. Was I wrong for refusing to be the designated driver? I might have messed up and ruined my family's New Year's party because I refused to be the designated driver again. I'm 26, and honestly, I need an outside perspective because I'm starting to wonder if I really did overreact. Although deep down, I still feel I was right. Every New Year's Eve, we have a big family party at my aunt and uncle's house, and every year, I somehow end up being the one who drives everyone home. Don't get me wrong, I love my family, but it's starting to feel like I'm being taken for granted. This has been happening since I was 19, even before I was legally allowed to drink. I've always been a light drinker, maybe a glass of wine or a bottle of beer, never getting drunk, so it wasn't a huge deal for me to drive people home when needed. But over the past few years, it's gotten to the point where everyone just expects me to stay sober. It's always the same line. You don't really drink anyway, you'll drive us, right? I always said yes because I didn't want to let anyone down. This year, though, I decided I was done. Before the party, I told everyone, very clearly, that I didn't want to be the designated driver anymore. I just wanted to relax, have a few drinks, and enjoy myself without feeling responsible for everyone's ride home. I even specifically told my cousin, who tends to get very drunk, that I wouldn't be driving this time, and she seemed fine with it. At the party, everything was going great. People were drinking, laughing, having a good time. I was finally relaxing until around 11 p.m. when my cousin came over and asked if I was ready to start driving people home. I reminded her that I wasn't doing that this year. She looked at me like I'd lost my mind and said, You always drive us stop being difficult. That really threw me off. I calmly explained again that I wasn't trying to be difficult. I just wanted to enjoy the night like everyone else. My aunt then pulled me aside and gave me a full lecture. She said, "We agreed last year that you'd drive. You know we're counting on you. Everyone else is too drunk, and taking a taxi isn't safe. Just do it for the family." There was a lot of pressure, but I stood my ground. I said it wasn't fair that they couldn't plan ahead and now expected me to sacrifice my night every year. My aunt got mad and called me selfish, saying I'm the only one who never gets that drunk and it wouldn't hurt me to help out. I told her I'd already had 3 beers and legally couldn't drive anyway. At that point, I lost my temper. I said I was tired of being treated like their personal chauffeur just because they couldn't manage their drinking. I grabbed my stuff and left. Honestly, it sucked to leave like that. But I spent the rest of the night at home, eating leftover pasta and watching Netflix with my boyfriend. Meanwhile, my family blew up my phone with texts calling me selfish and saying I ruined the holiday for everyone. They said I was overly sensitive and that they were disappointed in me. Some of them are still demanding an apology. By the way, I got home perfectly fine with a taxi. Even now, I wonder if I was really that wrong, but honestly, I think I was completely reasonable. Maybe it's just different cultural expectations, but where I'm from, getting behind the wheel after drinking even a little is absolutely not okay. For example, once, when I was filming at night for my channel, the police stopped me because I looked tired and even made me take a breathalyzer test and I hadn't even been drinking. Imagine if I had actually had a drink, they would have immediately suspended my license. And that's without even being drunk. So honestly, this girl had every right to have a few drinks and relax. Moral of the story: never drive after drinking even a little bit. Was I wrong for telling my ex's wife to have her own daughter instead of pressuring mine? I might have gone too far by telling my ex-husband's wife who's infertile that if she wanted to do cheerleading with a daughter, she should have her own kid and leave mine alone. Here's the full story. I'm 40 now. Several years ago, my ex cheated on me for over a year and eventually left me for his mistress, who is now his wife. Her name is Jen, and she's 42. At the time, our kids were still very young. Nowadays, the kids spend about 6 days a month with him, since he often works out of state. This way, the kids are always with one of their parents, not a nanny or worse, just Jen. According to my ex, Jen can't have children. They told me this hoping I would be nicer about custody and help the kids view Jen as a second mom. I made it clear that, after their betrayal, I wasn't doing any favors. I actually knew Jen before the affair blew up. She had been dating someone from my ex's friend group and deliberately got close to me back then, probably, to soften the fallout when everything came to light. So, that's the background. Now on to the current problem. Jen used to be a professional cheerleader and now volunteers with local squads. She recently started pushing my 10-year-old daughter to join cheerleading too. My daughter told me she doesn't want to and asked for my help. She knows that any extracurricular activities should be agreed upon between me and her father. I told my ex clearly, our daughter will not be forced into something she doesn't want to do. I also asked him and Jen to stop pressuring her. When he didn't respond properly through our parenting app, where official communications are required, I documented everything and insisted again. That's when Jen tried to call me. I ignored it. A few days later, she confronted me in a store. She said I was punishing her by not letting her be closer to the kids and that she had every right to share her interests with them because she had been in their lives for years. I calmly told her that forcing cheerleading on a child who clearly said no was not okay, and I walked away. But she kept following me, talking about how it was her dream to do cheerleading with a daughter. That's when I finally snapped. I told her, if you want to do cheerleading with a daughter so badly, have your own kid and leave mine alone. After that, she backed off. However, my ex blew up my phone with messages saying I was cruel for saying that to a woman who can't have children. Now, I'm wondering, was I truly that wrong? Looking back, I fully stand by defending my daughter. She doesn't owe anyone her participation in activities she's not interested in, no matter who it is. Was my comment about Jen's infertility harsh? Yes, it probably was. But considering Jen was once my friend, while secretly helping destroy my marriage, it's hard to feel much sympathy. At the end of the day, I'll always prioritize my daughter's well-being over an adult's hurt feelings. And honestly, I don't regret standing up for her. The taxi driver didn't know I understood his language. A few years ago, something happened that I'll never forget. It was just a few months after I moved to Chicago from Romania, where I had lived and studied for a while. I absolutely love Romania. People there are wonderful. While living there, I had to learn Romanian pretty quickly, because outside of university, not many people spoke English. Fast forward to Chicago, I ordered an Uber one day, and to my surprise, the driver had a very Romanian-sounding name. Not that shocking, though this neighborhood had a big Eastern European community. I was actually excited at the idea of practicing my Romanian again and seeing if I was getting rusty. The driver pulled up. I got in. He greeted me briefly, but stayed on a phone call he was having with, I guess, a friend or family member? I sat quietly in the back and started listening. The friend asked him when he'd finish work, and the driver said something like, "A couple more hours, then I'm heading home. Right now, I'm driving some passenger. God, I hate this country. All the women here are so fat and ugly. At least this one has decent boobs. But seriously, why can't she lose some weight?" And it didn't stop there. He went on, listing all my flaws and complaining about American women in general. Now, I've always been a little on the heavier side, and Romanian culture tends to comment on it pretty openly, so I was used to casual remarks. But the amount of straight-up nastiness he spewed really stunned me. I just sat there, quietly shocked. We pulled up to my destination. And then, keeping my best Romanian accent from the region I lived in, I said, in perfect Romanian, "Stop right there on the right, please." I swear his head whipped around like something out of The Exorcist. He turned beet red, literally the reddest I've ever seen a human face get. He stopped the car in dead silence. I got out, looked at him, and said in Romanian, "You're fat and ugly yourself, so maybe you shouldn't be criticizing others." Then I walked away, feeling more satisfied and proud of myself than I think I ever had before. Comment: my family is deaf, but I can hear. Sometimes when we're out, I stay quiet and just listen to people around us. Once, at a restaurant, a waitress walked us to our table and told her coworker loudly, "Ugh, great, another table full of dumb deaf people." We were following her, and since no one in my family could read her lips from behind, she clearly thought we had no idea. The whole walk to the table, she kept making rude comments about deaf people. Then she turned around with a fake smile and showed us our seats. When it came time to order, I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Well, since we're all such dumb deaf people, maybe you can just read me the menu and I'll translate for them." The look on her face? Absolutely priceless.